Right now at 6, MoDOT crews on I-44 remove an overhead sign after a semi-truck crashes into it.
And we got another hot, muggy day for us out there, maybe a pop-up shower or two. We'll look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a Miami, Oklahoma author won't let anything stand in the way of achieving his dreams.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's now Wednesday, and here we are. What is it? August the 20th. See, I'm having to cheat off the paper again. August the 28th. Yeah, there we go. It's August 28th. I don't keep track of the days.
They all just kind of blend together,
they really
especially
do.
in the summertime.
It's August, all right? That's all. That is all you need to know for now.
There you go. Nothing else that they might want to know from you, Chris, this morning?
There might be other things,
okay.
I suppose. Anybody ever seen the movie Jeremiah Johnson? I don't know how I've never even seen it. YouTube suggested a clip for it, and I played it for you yesterday, where he's sitting there, they're eating, he just goes, "Great hunter, yes?
Oh, yeah.
And fine figure of a man, yes? That is all you need to know for now." So maybe that is all that you need to know for now. None of those things are true about me. But what is true is it's going to be another hot one today, and we have another opportunity for some isolated showers and storms. Let's start with the future track. There we go. And we're going to show you as we head into the afternoon, we'll have those mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, perhaps an isolated shower or two, but you can see it's going to be late afternoon, early evening, and then they will very quickly fizzle out. We'll have slightly better chances tomorrow and then cold front later this week. We'll get to those details later. Right now, we're sitting at 73 in Joplin, 71 in Pittsburgh. Our temperatures this morning relatively close to normal. This is the closest we've been. A lot of us upper 60s. We're seeing a lot more of those out there, so that's about where we should be, and a few low 70s as well. So a nice blend of temperatures. Kids getting on the bus this morning. It'll be cool again. Cooler than where we've been. Low 70s, partly cloudy, calm breeze, or maybe a light southerly wind. We'll have southwest winds 5 to 10 this afternoon. Bus brings them home hot once again. Isolated shower storm. Best windows between about 2 and 7 today, but again, most of us will be dry. Mid-90s out there, and we don't have any heat advisories, which is fantastic, but we could, like yesterday, still see heat index values up to about 100 degrees. Now, we've got that cold front coming in toward the end of this week, and that's going to bring us some nice, cool air and some rain chances. Details on that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, Interstate 44 has fully reopened traffic after a fatal crash forced a shutdown yesterday. Westbound traffic was backed up for miles after a semi-truck hit the post of an overhead sign at the Rangeline exit just before 7 yesterday morning. The post was bent and the sign was left leaning over the road. Westbound travelers had to use alternate routes while a crew removed the sign and cleaned up debris.
This was a complicated accident just because we had a large sign that was partially down, that was a hazard for the rescuers and first responders that we had to deal with. There was just a lot of different things, the traffic that we were trying to control.
No word yet on the identity of the person killed in the crash. Well, Missouri Planned Parenthoods are fighting back against a new law to kick them off the federal Medicaid health insurance program. The organization filed legal challenges to the law with the Missouri Administrative Hearing Commission. Now, the law bans Medicaid funding from going to Planned Parenthood, which could reimburse them for services to low-income patients such as pap smears and cancer screenings. Arkansas also has a law banning Medicaid funding for the organization. Well, the legal fight connected to the deadly Branson ride, the Ducks boat accident, will continue, at least for now. Captain Kenneth Scott McKee and 2 supervisors, Curtis Lanham and Charles Baltzell, are facing 63 criminal charges. There's been several back and forth challenges in the case since the tragedy on Table Rock Lake in 2018 that drowned 17 people. Yesterday, a hearing was scheduled for October 11th to discuss the defense's motion to dismiss. The attorney is arguing the state attorney general had, quote, exceeded its authority to prosecute. If that motion is dismissed, a preliminary hearing will happen in March of next year. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Carthage City Council rejects a request to audit the Carthage Water and Electric Plant. The audit request was turned down in a 6-1 vote. Council member Alan Snow believes this call for an audit cast doubt on the organization and called for it to be rejected. Council member Tiffany Cosi disagreed with the audit because she believes it would cost too much.
It's a public utility, so it's a city-owned utility. We are connected with budgets and that kind of thing. So that's the city council's responsibility to make sure that everything is the way it needs to be.
Mayor Rife says the audit was requested by Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. Well, a young man in Miami, Oklahoma is beating the odds to become a published author. Maverick Manning was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when he was 5 years old. Despite his family being told for years he would likely struggle with reading comprehension, Manning has chosen to follow his passion for writing. After working on it for 8 years, Manning has published his first book titled The Rabbit's Creek Death Warrant. He says his diagnosis hasn't stopped him as an author, but helps him tell better stories.
So it might take on the Asperger's that it doesn't make you stupid. It makes you smarter than other people because you see the world different.
You can learn where to find Manning's book on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The young author says he's already working on his next book. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Housing affordability in America is finally improving, but not so much in certain cities. Plus, former President Donald Trump is now facing a revived and reworked legal fight over the previous election. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look at the city square in Girard, Kansas. Topping Nation Watch this morning. Overall, housing affordability in America is finally improving, but that's not the case in certain cities. In June, home price growth rose to the most in New York, San Diego, and Las Vegas. That's according to the latest S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller 20-City Home Price Index released Tuesday. It's not just home buyers feeling the pain. A recent Moody's Analytics report reveals the situation is dire for renters too. New York City, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale in Florida, Los Angeles, and New Jersey were the 5 most rent-burdened places in America during this year's second quarter. According to Consumer Price Index data, regions seeing declining cost for shelter include Tampa, Florida, Denver, and Minneapolis. Republican leaders in 24 states are asking the Supreme Court to pause a plan by the Environmental Protection Agency to cut methane emissions by 80%. The rule went into effect earlier this year as an effort to curb climate change. It requires states to come up with a plan to reduce methane within 2 years, which the states argue is impossible, and they say the rules are an attack on the oil and gas industry. An appeals court rejected the state's request to put the regulations on hold, and now the states are hoping the Supreme Court will overturn that decision. The High Court will likely take several weeks to consider the request. Well, former President Donald Trump is facing a new federal indictment related to allegations he tried to illegally interfere with the last election. The revised charging document comes in light of the recent U.S. Supreme Court decision granting presidents immunity for official acts. All of this less than 10 weeks before the 2024 election. Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
As the 2024 race for the White House heats up, former President Donald Trump is now facing a revived and reworked legal fight over the previous election. Tuesday, another federal grand jury in Washington re-indicted Trump on the same 4 charges in special counsel Jack Smith's case, accusing him of conspiracy to hold on to power and to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The revised indictment meant to comply with the Supreme Court's July ruling that presidents have broad immunity for official acts.
The allegations relate solely to the actions former President Trump took as a candidate, in other words, in his personal capacity, omitting allegations that involved alleged actions in his official capacity.
The slimmed-down charging document removed the allegations concerning Trump's attempts to pressure the Justice Department into supporting his false claims that the election was rigged. One of the unnamed co-conspirators, who CBS News identified as Jeffrey Clark, a Trump ally within the DOJ, has also been taken out.
This is a persecution of a political opponent.
Trump has repeatedly denied all wrongdoing, and last night he again accused the special counsel of election interference. His 2024 running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, called the new indictment putting lipstick on a pig.
I don't think that it changes anything legally.
Trump's lawyers are expected to fight it. Jared Hill, CBS News.
A source close to Trump's legal team tells us that the indictment was not a surprise and it doesn't change the team's position that the case is flawed and should be dismissed. The source also says Trump's lawyers are expected to ask for more time to brief the case. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, Skywatch Storm Tracker, at least in our area, is clear other than a few clouds out there. And we have those scattered storms off to our north and east. These were the ones that could have clipped our far northeastern counties, but are staying a little further away. We'll have another look at your forecast, talk about some relief on the way when we come back.
Well, food, rides, and games, it's all part of the fun at the State Fair. There are also the vendors who are selling their products and competing for your cash. So what makes a good salesperson? Well, Jeff Wagner went to the Minnesota State Fair to find out.
Stepping into the grandstand is like navigating a maze of merchandise.
I just use good food.
Forget food on a stick. How about the tools to cut one? Everything's for sale in there, even the kitchen sink.
Reach the bar, just right there.
I found mouse mix.
Did you expect that you would solve your mouse problem at the Minnesota State Fair?
No, I did not.
Now you can do like the windows, the screens.
Did you expect when you came to the fair you were going to buy hose nozzles?
No, I did not.
That spontaneous spending,
Can I just show you how it works?
is often kick-started
Right here too as well.
This will actually replace 50 rolls of parchment.
by the sound of energetic salespeople drawing you in.
Sir, you ready? Can I clean them up? I'll do for free.
What do you think are maybe some good traits of a good salesperson?
Well, being friendly and approachable.
Not grumpy, not pushy, not just pleasant.
Make them feel welcome, bring them in, excite them, make them smile. You know, like yesterday you came to me, I made you smile.
Malachi Williams cleaned my kicks.
This stuff is so good, you're gonna end up on the news.
Like he does for so many other fairgoers at Shoes MGK.
What makes a good salesperson at the State Fair?
People aren't necessarily shopping for what they want, they're shopping for what they need. You want to provide value to the people. So I want to make sure the customer is satisfied.
When I'm done, it just wipes clean.
Blair Lowndes sells Unstick to make cooking easy and clean.
And I find out, what type of cook are you? Do you like to bake? Do you like to do stuff in the oven? Do you like to fry it?
How important is the demo?
Very important.
I'm going to explain it to you, but if I show you, it's going to be a whole lot better.
Letting customers see a product in action or test it themselves is often a turning point.
I have to see it work before I'll buy it.
Brittany got her shoes cleaned and bought the product, but not without a little negotiation.
The fact that you're willing to be flexible and work with me, I really appreciated that.
And so maybe somebody won't have like a budget for something. I'll be like, okay, well, what is your budget?
Creating a connection through conversation.
You need to bond with them quickly and to the point.
Keeps buyers calm and intrigued, while answering questions brings confidence.
Getting them excited as you are about it and showing them how this is going to make a difference in their life.
Look, that's the new and that's the old.
And you said you love buying things here at the fair?
I do, because I can't find it any other place.
Now, both the salesmen said accepting that some customers aren't interested is just part of the job. The key is to stay upbeat and move on to the next person. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got some clouds out there on our camera on top of the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin. Got a few showers and storms off to our north and east. Going to be another hot and muggy day down here for us. We'll have another look at your forecast. Talk about that cold front coming in later this week when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:21 now on this Wednesday morning. We're going to start with the future track, talk about what we're expecting today, tomorrow, and as we head into Friday with that cold front rolling in. So today we are looking at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. We have some thunderstorms off to our northeast right now. Those are the ones that yesterday morning showed up on the future track, maybe just barely clipping parts of our area. They're staying to our northeast, but they are giving us some clouds this morning. And as we head later into the afternoon, early evening hours, we could see an isolated shower or storm. Now today, as you saw on the future track, these are very isolated. The majority of us will remain dry. We'll have mostly clear skies again overnight tonight. Now Thursday is one of those more interesting days from a standpoint of just how the weather will unfold, because ahead of this front, which at this point on Thursday is still off to our north and west, we are going to be hot, we're going to be muggy. Those conditions trigger pop-up storms. But because there's also an approaching front with some energy with it, we could see a few more pop-up showers and storms as we head into the afternoon and early evening hours ahead of the front, but they'll still be relatively isolated. Then as that front gets here late night Thursday into early Friday, we'll start to see more organized shower and thunderstorm chances. There's that frontal boundary right there on that wind shift line. It's going to bring in some cooler temperatures. More importantly, though, it's bringing in some much needed rain chances. Now, the other thing about the storms on Friday is they're going to be on again, off again. They're going to be scattered. It won't rain all day, but we'll have thunderstorm chances all day. So you see, as we head around late morning, early afternoon, we may even get a pause in some rain before we see additional development take place, because now we're on the backside of that front, but it kind of slows down after it pushes into our area, and we could be stuck with some additional showers and thunderstorms throughout the evening Friday. The best chances for longer duration rain will be in the afternoon, evening, and overnight hours, and as we head into Saturday, we'll have an opportunity for a few more scattered storms out there. Still have to deal with that moderate to major heat risk today and into Thursday, but by Friday, once we get behind that frontal boundary, we start to fall into a minor heat risk, and that remains the case on Saturday and on Sunday. And then as we get into Monday and Tuesday, significant improvements. We fall into that little to no risk out there. So this cold front will certainly help. Quick look at temperatures. We are sitting at 73 in Joplin. We've got a calm wind out there. Dew point humidity, again, both up there. Now the humidity will drop as we head a little later into the day, but the dew point will not, and that's why we could still see heat index values approaching 100 degrees. Temperatures this morning at or just a wee bit above average, upper 60s and some low 70s. Many of us cooler than where we were at this time yesterday morning. All right, partly cloudy skies through the morning hours, upper 80s again by 11, so definitely getting hot out there. Our highs today, mid-90s, overnight lows tonight back into the 70s, mid-90s again Thursday. Heat index values close to 100. Then take a look at this, falling into the mid-80s as we head into Labor Day weekend. Now, the first couple of days of this weekend here, again, maybe wet, maybe a bit soggy, some scattered thunderstorm chances. We need the rain for sure. Then Sunday, Monday look pretty good, mid-upper 80s out there. We'll hang on to the mid to upper 80s heading into next week, so keeping us at or just below average. And then we could see a few additional scattered storm chances by next Thursday and Friday. That's Check Your Forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, explaining the possible harms of COVID-19 is the most effective strategy to convince people to get vaccinated. A study published in the Journal of Public Health gave 3 groups different messages: the harms, the benefits for yourself, and the benefits for others. 72% of people who heard about the potential harms got vaccinated, up to 10% higher than the other 2 groups. All 3 groups had higher vaccination rates than a 4th group given no message. Well, adding greenery to a neighborhood can lower the inflammation rates of residents. A study by the University of Louisville planted more than 8,000 large trees and shrubs in a 4-mile square area and compared the neighborhood's health to the surrounding community. Residents had up to 20% lower levels of a biomarker of general inflammation. And there's a racial divide in the amount of testing patients receive when they come to emergency departments with common symptoms like nausea or chest pain. A study published in JAMA Network Open found Black patients are 26% less likely to receive a diagnostic test, and white patients may be subject to overtesting. Researchers say this puts Black patients at an increased risk for a missed diagnosis. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, the city of Pittsburgh cuts the ribbon on a new addiction treatment center.
We got another hot and muggy day across the area. A few clouds here and there, maybe an isolated shower or two. Look at that forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
Plus, some local preschoolers learn about nature at the George Washington Carver National Monument.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Wednesday here in the 4 states, getting closer to the weekend with each passing minute.
Yeah, that's a nice thought.
Yeah, and it's going to be a pretty decent weekend as well.
Right.
Got the holiday weekend coming up. Labor Day's on Monday, so many of us have
cooler temperatures.
3-day weekend.
Yeah.
Cooler temperatures on the way to help us celebrate, and some
Lots to
rain
look
chances
forward to.
too.
Yeah.
I know we don't like the rain on the holidays, but at the same time, we really need the rain. So I think we can take this because it's going to give us a 50-50 split for the holiday.
Yeah, not too bad.
Well, let's get you out the door for your Wednesday. And what are we expecting? Well, another hot, muggy day, unfortunately. Quick look outside from our camera. 7th and range line. You can see there's a few clouds out there. And honestly, I did not do it fast enough. And so don't make yourselves ill by watching. We're going to turn this back toward the east, and that's what we're talking about. We got those clouds out there off to the east from some thunderstorms that are off to our northeast. Nothing in our area, but it is kind of limiting that sunlight this morning. MoDOT camera 20th and range line also looking pretty good as folks start to get their day underway. Heading into the afternoon, we're looking at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, and then by late afternoon, early evening, as is common in the summer, we could see a few isolated showers or thunderstorms. Most of us will remain dry and unpleasant today. But the good news is, again, we have that cold front coming, and it's going to start to change things up for us a bit. 73 in Joplin right now, 71 in Pittsburgh. Many of us at or just a little above average. Average low is about 68, 69. That's where many of us are sitting. Take a look. This is the most upper 60s we've had on this map for the past several mornings out there. And we do still have some low 70s as well. So all in all, not really a bad start to the day. Kids getting on the bus this morning, we are looking at the low 70s, partly cloudy skies and a calm or light southerly breeze out there. We'll have winds out of the southwest 5 to 10 this afternoon. Again, isolated shower storm, otherwise partly cloudy, and once again, mid-90s out there. Mid-90s for our highs. No heat advisories again because we're going to be below that criteria, but still could see those heat index values approaching 100 as we head into the afternoon. And again, maybe an isolated shower or storm. We've got one more day of this uncomfortable heat that we've got to get through, and then we've got that cold front coming in. We'll go over those details for you in the full forecast, and that's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, see you soon, Chris. Well, the Missouri governor and First Lady yesterday hosted a celebration with the one and only Dolly Parton. The event marked the statewide expansion of Parton's Imagination Library, the entertainer's project, which provides families with 5 books each month from the time a child is born until they reach the age of 5. Governor Parson and his wife attended the event to show their support for the program. Missouri became the 14th state to commit to a statewide program just after Kansas, which signed on last year. And it's never too early to start learning, especially about the planet. Preschoolers from Carthage yesterday learned some lessons about nature at the George Washington Carver National Monument. Now, the monument partnered with Carthage parents as teachers to educate young students on George Washington Carver's curiosity through crafts and storytime activities.
And so getting them out to these treasured places, which are over 400 of them, and learning about this stuff, whether it's natural or cultural resources, is very enriching for all ages.
After the program, students and their families were encouraged to explore the monument's interactive exhibits. Well, the next KOAM flag swap is today. Will be set up at Wesco Home Furnishings in Pittsburgh on 2601 South Broadway from noon to 1:30. You can stop by with your old American flag and swap it for a brand new American-made one. Old flags will be retired according to the U.S. Flag Code. Now be sure and show up early as the number of flags is limited. Well, there's a new facility in Pittsburgh aiming to treat addiction. Crawford County Mental Health Center celebrated the opening of the new addiction treatment center with a ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday. The new center will have 24-hour bed space for addiction, social detox, and crisis stabilization. It'll also provide continuity of care for individuals to remain under the care of the same clinicians.
The thing that's exciting about this building is the crisis stabilization unit is attached. And so anybody who comes in who may need detox services, who may need psychiatric services, people on the inpatient unit that may need psychiatric services for while receiving addiction treatment, they're able to do that all together. Like for
the new center is located at the Richard H. Pfeiffer Recovery Complex. Well, a section of this parking lot will soon become a bull riding arena. Bullfest at the lake is coming to the Wolf Creek Park in Grove, Oklahoma. The event busts out of the chute at 4 p.m. this Friday and features bull riding, live music, food trucks, beer gardens, and so much more. Organizers say there's a reason for putting the arena on concrete.
We're getting questions about why are we doing it on the concrete. PBR does this all the time, going to the BOK Center in Tulsa. I mean, they do it on the concrete. If you try to get on the grass and you bring in all this dirt and all this fluff, you can't get it back off. Then you have to till the dirt up if you want to do that. We don't have time for that. So it's easier to bring in the dirt, put it on the asphalt, on the concrete, and clean it up. Cleanup's about 2 days. It doesn't take long at all.
You can head over to KOAMnewsnow.com where we provided more information, including ticket prices and where you can purchase them. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The TSA says this summer's air passenger volumes have been record-breaking, and they're prepared to screen more than 17 million people over Labor Day weekend. And we have a hard and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look of the city square in Girard, Kansas. In Consumer Watch this morning, we'll get ready for one more blockbuster summer weekend at the nation's airports. The TSA is gearing up for a big finale to a record-breaking summer. Karen Kefa is in Washington with a look at when Labor Day travel will hit its peak.
The Transportation Security Administration says they're gearing up for their busiest Labor Day travel period ever. The TSA says they expect to screen more than 17 million passengers between this Thursday and next Wednesday. The holiday weekend set to cap off another busy summer.
We certainly saw a lot of travel in 2023. The same has happened in 2024. Labor Day weekend isn't as big of a travel weekend as, say, July 4th or Thanksgiving in the fall, but it is a time for most people to close out their summer.
Despite hot demand, airfares were down nearly 3% in July from the year prior, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Katie Nastro of travel website Going says travelers can find end-of-summer deals.
We're seeing great last minute availability for specific areas, especially domestically, as people tend to travel less. Kids are back in school, families aren't traveling nearly as much as they do in the height of summer.
Aixa Diaz of AAA says drivers will see savings too.
Gas prices have been coming down considerably. The national average is now about 50 cents below what it was last Labor Day weekend, and we've seen prices come down about 15 cents just in the past month.
Tuesday's national average for a gallon of regular gas was $3.35, according to AAA. And Diaz says barring any storm impact to Gulf refineries, prices should continue to fall into September. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Overnight, AT&T customers reported service outages, with some local emergency officials saying the issue had affected the ability to call 911. In a statement to CBS News, an AT&T spokesperson said the company has resolved a software issue that affected a limited number of customers, and that keeping customers connected is its highest priority. One drug maker is slashing the price of its weight loss drug in order to make it more accessible. Eli Lilly announced it will sell single-use vials of its injectable weight loss drug Zepbound at a 50% or larger discount compared to the cost of other obesity drugs. Patients can buy the vials at the company's Lilly Direct website with a valid prescription. And Pizza Hut wants to make moving day easier with the new specialty box that transforms into a miniature table. The company says nearly 9 in 10 people have ordered pizza during a move, and that a majority of those people said they ate pizza on the floor. Now, Pizza Hut's moving box tables come with instructions, and they're available for a limited time only in Dallas, Charlotte, and Orlando. Well, the inside of
one of these drawers is dice. Like this. Here, this is a die from when I did the NSYNC game. There's Justin Timberlake.
Peggy Brown's Milwaukee basement looks like a toy store.
I think this was going to actually have liftoff, so it had like we added an air bladder inside.
Except these aren't games for sale. They're games she made.
I'm a professional inventor. I work with all the major toy companies all around the world, and they come to me for new product ideas.
During her more than 35-year career, she has made McDonald's Happy Meal toys, invented games like Pretty Pretty Princess, Cubits, and Count Your Chickens. She's worked with brands like Kraft Heinz and Barbie, and made games for the movies Space Jam and Last Action Hero.
Asking Peggy what her favorite game she's created is kind of like asking me what my favorite story I've done is. I just don't have a good answer. However, she does have a game she's really excited about, Wildflowers, which just came out.
It's so much fun to make fun.
And she does it all, from conceptualization, production, design, manufacturing, the game name, and writing the rules.
Because I get to make things. You know how satisfying that is?
Her games are so well respected, she has won 3 Taggy Awards, which is like the Oscars for game and toy design.
The way that my brain is happy is when it's producing, and I think that's just the way I am. Once in a while I'll get fan mail. And I'll hear from somebody that's had this game, and they'll tell me all their family stories about it. And it's just, you just don't know what everybody's doing with all this stuff.
And she's producing games far into the future.
Oh gosh, we're on to Christmas of 26. Merry Christmas.
Her basement is full of the next hot toys and games. But that's behind the camera. I couldn't show you those.
And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a few clouds out there to start our day, especially the further east you go. We've got thunderstorms outside of our area, but close enough that we've got a little bit of a cloud shield really along and east of 69 this morning. That's our camera on the Cornell complex, our camera 7th and range line, also kind of showing you what we're looking at, and it is kind of blocking that sunrise this morning. MoDOT camera 20th and range line, also looking pretty good so far as folks get their day underway. Future track heading into the afternoon and evening hours. Again, mostly clear to partly cloudy skies today. And then as we head late afternoon, early evening, an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm will be possible. Most of us will be dry, but that will begin to change over the next couple of days. Quick look at temperatures, 73 in Joplin, 70 in Pittsburgh right now. And as we look at temperatures around the region, again, a better start. Many of us at or just a little above normal. Average is about 68, 69. And you can see we've got a lot of the upper 60s out there, and still some low 70s. Kids get on the bus this morning. We're going to go into the low 70s, partly cloudy skies, a calm wind. By the time that bus brings them back home, about 94, and again, that isolated chance of a shower or storm and a southwest breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We do have that cold front coming in. It's going to bring us some better rain chances. It's going to bring us some better temperatures, a lot of improvements on the way. We'll talk about that here in the full forecast in just a moment. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries after this break, but first, as we always do at this time, let's head to New York and see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, veteran actor Tony Danza joins us to talk about his new show honoring the legendary Frank Sinatra, where he tells stories, sings, and even tap dances. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Wednesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to start in Oswego with Lily Shoulders celebrating birthday number 13. Happy birthday, Lily.
Also celebrating their 13th birthday is Lily Fagan. Happy birthday.
And in Parsons, Jace Blackburn celebrating birthday number 14. Happy birthday, Jace.
And over in Columbus, happy 16th birthday to Caitlin Drager.
And in Girard, we've got Missy Sisney celebrating birthday number 45. Says love Michael, Evan, Aiden, Marley, Quinn, Mom, Dad, Nancy, and Gail.
And back over in Columbus, a happy 42nd anniversary to Mike and Melody White.
And our party in the bus continues with Frank Fennell celebrating another year wiser in Columbus. Happy birthday, Frank.
Over in Crestline, a happy birthday to Brad Stover.
And in Pittsburgh, Diana Carter celebrating another year wiser as well. Happy birthday to you, Diana. Happy birthday and anniversary to everyone on our list. And you know the drill. If you want to celebrate with us, the only person in this entire building that has that information is Elise Noe.
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays at KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos and messages. And to, as always, beat the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen.
Absolutely. And definitely include those messages too. We love sharing those messages.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure your loved ones love hearing those messages as well. All right, sorry, got to get a little more coffee in. Having Cheez-Its for breakfast, not necessarily the smartest idea. Let's start with a look outside from our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. So you can see we've got the clouds here on the eastern half of our area, and that's because we've got some showers and storms off to our east. They're not in our immediate area, but they're off to our east, and we've got just enough cloud cover out there, kind of blocking the sunrise a bit, but it is starting to lead to some really pretty colors out there. Get another shot of that from our camera at 7th and Range Line. You can see those colors, the sun trying to peek through those clouds. Again, nothing really going on in our area at this time. Today, going to be relatively calm. Things will start to change as we head into our Thursday. Quick look from MoDOT camera one more time at 20th and Range Line in Joplin. Also looking good as we start to get our day underway. Got some of those clouds, and you can see how far west those clouds extend, because here in Pittsburgh, KDOT camera 69 in Kansas Crossing, there's no sunshine peeking through the trees right now. So a bit of a gray start, but only partly gray or partly cloudy. That will be the case through most of the day. So further west you are, the clearer your skies will be, but we're looking at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. As we head later into the afternoon and early evening hours, we could see an isolated shower or thunderstorm out there, but as you saw in Future Track, whatever we see, they're pop-up type storms, so be very short-lived and be very isolated in nature. And we'll have mostly clear skies overnight tonight. We go into our Thursday. Today's hot and muggy. Tomorrow is hot and muggy, but tomorrow is one of those more interesting days in terms of what to expect, because it changes up a bit. Because it's still summer, it's still going to be hot and muggy, we're going to have that opportunity, as you can see, for isolated pop-up showers and storms. But we could see a few more of them than what we would see today. Part of that is because this south wind coming in, cold front's off to our northwest, so it's actually generating just a little extra energy for some of these pop-up storms out there Thursday afternoon and evening. Then as we go late night and overnight, the main cold front starts to push in. Here it is, there's that wind shift line. And along and ahead of that front, excuse me, I told you Cheez-Its are a bad idea. We could see scattered showers and thunderstorms early Friday morning. Now, the good news is at this point, nothing severe at this point is what we're not looking at anything severe. So far, no areas highlighted for severe weather. There's nothing that really looks to say that we're looking at some kind of severe event. That's not to say we might not see a strong storm, but at this point, we're not looking at anything too serious other than just some much needed rain and cooler temperatures. So here's that front by 5 a.m. It kind of starts to slow down. So as we head into the afternoon hours, it's not that much further to the south than east out there. We could see some breaks in the storm. So Friday's not an all-day rain event, but it's an all-day rain chance event. So we could see some pauses, and then we'll see additional showers and storms on the backside of this front. And the better chances for a little more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity will come in the afternoon and evening hours across the area, and they could continue into the first portion of our Saturday as well. So we'll have to contend with a few showers and storms. So that's a 50-50 split. The first 2 days of this Labor Day weekend, Friday, Saturday, maybe some rain. Sunday, Monday look pretty good. We'll go over the details in the full forecast here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to hear how siblings from Iowa both hit hole-in-ones and both were caught on camera.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Maverick Manning of Miami, Oklahoma is going against the odds to become a published author. Manning was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when he was 5 years old. Despite being told he would likely struggle with reading comprehension, Manning chose to follow his passion for writing. After 8 years, his first book has been published, titled The Rabbit's Creek Death Warrant. The young author says he's already working on his next book. Well, Pittsburgh has a new facility aimed at treating addiction. Crawford County Mental Health Center celebrated the opening of the facility with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. The new center will have 24-hour bed space for addiction, social detox, and crisis stabilization. It'll also provide continuity of care for individuals to remain under the care of the same clinicians. And the KOAM flag swap is today. Will be set up at Wesco Home Furnishings in Pittsburgh on 2601 South Broadway from noon to 1:30. You can stop by with your old American flag and swap it for a brand new American-made one. Old flags will be retired according to the U.S. Flag Code. Be sure and show up early as the number of flags is limited. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we're looking at another warm and muggy day. Well, hot and muggy day. Mid-90s out there. Heat index values could reach about 100 again, and maybe an isolated shower or storm between 2 and 7. But most of us are expected to remain dry. Mostly clear skies through the late evening and overnight hours, back into low 70s. Then another hot and muggy day Thursday. Isolated pop-up storms in the afternoon and evening. Cold front comes in overnight, brings us better thunderstorm chances. Scattered storms through the day Friday and the first half of our Saturday. Temperatures through Labor Day weekend and into next week falling back into the mid to upper 80s. And then maybe another possible shower or storm toward the end of next week. So a little bit of rain this weekend. It's much needed rain, but the best news is we're also getting cooler temperatures out there.
Alrighty. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making cheesy pepperoni pizza sticks in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Podcasting is becoming more and more lucrative. The Kelsey brothers just got a reported $100 million for their New Heights podcast. It's lucrative for the Kelsey brothers.
Right.
If you and I started a podcast, I highly doubt we're going
wouldn't
to
even
get
get
$100 million. Depends on who you are, I think. Well, next on CBS Mornings, Jolene Kent explains why talking into a microphone could mean big bucks.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where we kind of have our own podcast.
We do.
This morning, we'll have tips on how you can keep your family safe from mosquitoes and the West Nile virus.
And Michelle Brocksterman join us in the studio for another Wildcat Wednesday. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here live on TV tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.